I never got introduced to the Warriors series of games until their Zelda crossover spin-off Hyrule Warriors. I really enjoyed the game, and it made me wonder what other Nintendo series may get the same treatment. And that brings us to their second collaboration with Nintendo, this time with Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Warriors combines the hack and slash gameplay of the Warriors series with some of the strategic elements of Fire Emblem. If you haven't played any Warriors game, you fight in battlefields that are populated with hundreds of enemies. The player can execute combos to cut through enemies while working toward completing a series of stage objectives. Fire Emblem Warriors adds a lot more strategy as you can order characters to where they should go to either fight an enemy, heal another party member, etc. You can have up to 8 characters fighting in battle, with 4 you can switch to at any time, while the other 4 serves as backup. The Fire Emblem series is especially known for its compelling story that gets you attached. And in Fire Emblem Warriors, the storyline can be described with just one word: forgettable. Like more recent Fire Emblem games, you're introduced to a new pair of protagonists, Liana and Rowan. Sibling heirs to the Atolus Kingdom, their land comes under threat with the appearance of an evil dragon and thousands of fiends from other worlds who slip through a rift in space and time. In a similar fashion, characters from various Fire Emblem timelines come to Liana and Rowan's rescue. The problem with the story is that it's just too thin for me to even care, because the storyline has you find a character, have a misunderstanding or test against you, and challenge them so they'll join you. Wash, rinse, repeat until near the end of the campaign, where you'll find the main villain behind this problem. Speaking of characters, most of the roster have been pulled from the more recent Awakening and Fates, and few appearing from Shadow Dragon, the Blazing Blade, and Echoes. This brings us more to the Smash Bros. Dilemma, as many of the popular characters such as Roy and Ike didn't make the cut at all. Going back into battles, the weapon triangle system pulled from Fire Emblem dictates how effective one character is against another depending on their default weapon, but weighing the advantages of individuals slows the rapid and enjoyable pace of combat. The pair-up system used to create bonds between two heroes isn't different from other Warriors games, but raising your bond at the highest level will activate support conversations that are a staple to the Fire Emblem series. But just like the story, they don't offer the truly dramatic character relationships that the series is known for. Keeping with the Fire Emblem tradition, there's a classic and casual mode. Classic mode has permadeath, in which fallen allies cannot be used in future battles, but the edge has been taken off this mode by the fact that you can revive them at a temple in between missions. Casual mode has fallen characters simply retreat until the next battle. But even in casual mode, I still died in many battles. Aside from story mode, there's also history mode, which allows you to replay famous battles from the Fire Emblem series. These are unlocked as you progress through the main narrative and offer the chance to not only boost your experience, gain more items and earn more gold, but also sate your competitive side. Your performance in each mission is ranked depending on how well you do. It's a neat little addition which expands the replayability of Fire Emblem Warriors. The game looks really great considering that the Switch is also a mobile system. In its default quality mode, which runs at 1080p 30 frames per second docked, the game ticks along nicely with impressive visual effects and loads of enemies on screen at one time. However, the performance mode drops the resolution down to 720p and boosts the frame rate to 60 frames per second. Needless to say, this only applies to dock mode. Whether or not this is an acceptable trade-off for you is all down to personal taste, but the smoothness of the action really does make a difference. But the frame rate does take a notable hit from time to time, which can be annoying but didn't affect the enjoyability of the game. In short, Fire Emblem Warriors combines the enjoyable combat and real-time tactics, faithfully paying tribute to the series it fuses together. While the story is forgettable and there are many signs of potential that are left unrealized, such as actual permadeath and the character relationships, there are still a huge amount of fan service that Fire Emblem fans would love, considering the fact that the characters right now are kind of stale, but the DLC should fix this. Fire Emblem Warriors for Nintendo Switch earns an 8 out of 10. If you own a Switch, this should be added to your Switch library, and ones that fans should not overlook.